Minister. Also joining me, Justin Urquhart-Stewart. Right, so let me see, Michael. It's been tough for nightclubs, it really has. Do you know how many clubs have shut down since the start of the pandemic? Because obviously there's only just over 1,000 left, but how many since the start?
There's been about 300. We started with about 1,446 in 2019. We're down to 1,130. To be honest, trade is actually looking really good for the businesses that are still open and have managed to sustain this last 2.5 years, which have been really challenging. But as you can appreciate, the next 6 months are going to be critical. Cost inflation is really challenging, and we've got staff challenges as well in terms of shortages, both security, talent pipeline is limited. So, look, for us, I mean, it's positive in terms of trade, and trade is up about 9%, but we have lost so many. We really need to start trying to protect some of these really, really important venues. And we have to understand they're a British institution. It's something that is renowned worldwide. Our club networks, from Fabric, Ministry of Sound, Lab 11, Birmingham to Sub Club in Glasgow. They're so important to people's sort of mental, physical and social well-being.
Do you think partly it's this Gen Z, they're very goody two-shoes, this lot, they don't want to do anything. Now we're all coming back, or are you finding that because of the pandemic, people are really coming out there now and just having a good time because it's something they haven't been able to do for a while?
I think without a doubt, we're seeing a volume of people coming out. As you can understand, cost inflation is somewhat tempered that because people have got less disposable income. So we're looking at sort of frequencies sort of dropping and dwell times dropping within venues. But, we're really keen to sort of start driving forward one of these, these important spaces. And we've worked very hard during the pandemic to make sure that as many of them can get through the last 2.5 years, bearing in mind that they were the first to close and the last to open. So we need as much support as possible moving forward. And we see schemes like Berlin where they protect these businesses, almost treat them like museums in terms of heritage assets. So we need to start really working with government and trying to protect some of these key businesses and these locations that are vital to the British sort of counterculture, which is huge globally.
Well, are the government doing anything to try and protect them? As you said, I mean, they're an icon in this country. We're well known for things like Ministry of Sound. Is there much coming in terms of assistance from the government?
We're working hard with many of the government departments looking at protections like agent of change. We're looking at heritage asset protection schemes, but we're also looking at deregulation and licensing and planning easements to allow for these businesses to flourish and extend their trade. Some of the challenges that we've had, which we've seen in places like Watford and where we've seen landlords foreclose in break clauses and close down amazing, huge spaces, 3,000 capacity businesses because they want to turn them into residential spaces. So we've got to protect these businesses against that because they are very, very vulnerable to it. And there's some work that needs to be done there. And we're hoping a new government coming through will really start to understand the importance that they play in culture as part of the cultural tapestry across the UK.
I'm afraid it's the same government, just different. The deck chairs have moved. Let's bring in Justin Urquhart-Stewart on this one. Look, the nighttime economy